So from time to time, we get a number of questions that come in about the idea. We are business owners, but a lot of times we get a lot of questions, Dennis, about just working from home. For some people, it's COVID brought this whole thing on where we were doing that, but many of us still have to maintain that. And I've been doing this for a couple decades now. But I know you've been doing it for a long time as well. But we get a lot of questions about working from home.
We do. And so today we've pulled 4 questions that our listeners have sent in,
Hmm.
and we thought we'd just kind of let Benny and I talk about responses, and we'd love to hear from our listeners and people that are
Yeah,
watching. And if you're watching, we're actually going to have a PowerPoint so you can actually see what's going on. If you're listening,
you
we'll
can
kind of,
download it and
you can watch it
have all of
later.
our fun information here. Yeah. So yeah, Dennis. Before we get into that, working from home, let me ask you. I want your opinion on this because this is something that we've talked about from time to time. But do you like working from home? You've worked for big companies before, and
Mhm.
I remember, yeah, a really nice office. When we first met too as well. But working from home, it's a different thing. How do you like it?
I love it. I
Yeah,
mean, the thought of if I had to go back to a corporate office it'd be really hard.
yeah,
Um, I enjoy the fact that I can just get up in the morning and come in here and do some stuff quickly and then go for a walk, have breakfast, do some stuff. Throughout the day, I'm doing things in here, taking care of customers and just it's just for me, it's been great. For other people,
hmm,
it may not be, and again, you have to have the right environment. If you notice my background, we finally got it straightened up for 3 months in the move. It was a little chaotic and it was a little
hmm,
stressful, but
yeah.
it's much more relaxed now and it's just quiet and it just allows me to be more productive. I
Yeah.
love it. How about you?
You know, I've been doing it for so long. And just before I met you, I was working in an office in Nashville and we had to go in every day into Cool Springs and which is a area just south of Nashville. And it was great in some respects of the fact that I did get to interact with fellow employees and get to, you know, that casual conversation was great. But for me, and for those of you all who do have regular businesses and maybe your employees are asking about working from home, I think it's something you should explore because for me, from a productivity standpoint, from just an enjoyability, I think there's so much to be gained there. I hear a lot of companies now, Microsoft, not too long ago announced that they're encouraging everyone return to office, Amazon, all of these companies are doing it. And I think there's something that's to be lost here, but work from home, I think will always be an important part of the business world.
And I think, for me, if I had employees and stuff, I think a hybrid model would work because
Mm,
you do want
yeah.
people to come in. I'm here, Vanya, who I work with, and Matt and Brett. Two of them are up in Nashville. I'm in Atlanta. Vanya's in Salt Lake City. It
Hmm.
works great. And then we all
Yeah.
we get together and we have our gatherings virtually to touch base and that kind of thing. But it's not something where we need to be on top of things all the time
Yeah.
with each other, that we can communicate and keep things going. And for our clients, it works great because we're in different
Yeah.
time zones and we can support things and all that. A few weeks back, we had Vitaly on from Desme. And I think,
Hmm.
you know, that's especially those that are struggling when, how do you keep track of where people are at? A tool like that was really cool. And I think,
Yeah.
if you missed that episode, I think it was from early in September
Yeah.
I'd encourage of 2025. I'd encourage you to go back to that one and watch that one because it's really a neat technology that helps people find that hybrid model. Because I think businesses need both, probably, but I think ones that are saying 100% in office. We've had a other podcast about retention. I think that's going to hurt your retention because if certain employees definitely need to work in an office, but many of them enjoy working remotely and on the road. And if you can't trust them, then you hired the wrong person because you ought to be able to trust them no matter where they're at. If they're going to steal from you, they'll do it in the office as well as at home.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's so much, this is a big discussion for some people and maybe it's worthwhile doing a deeper dive into folks who are maybe thinking that when we did have the pandemic, I really made sense for us to do it. I just want everyone to be back. And part of you guys out there, I'm going to just call it out to you. It's a control problem for you guys, and that's an issue. And so, uh, stop it, and really take a look at
Yeah.
your business. If you have dissatisfied employees, this is something that's going to go that you should look at. But Dennis, working from home can be not always all roses and all wonderful rainbows and everything. There's
Right.
some struggles out there. People who don't know how to do it, or maybe they were forced into it. It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and the questions today kind of center around that of, how do you deal with some of these things? So I'm
Yeah.
going to share the screen and hopefully this works right. And here
Like
we
you're a
go.
technology wizard.
I know you got to love it. So, you know, so first off, check out our new logo. Benny kind of share about the logo. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's funny. One of the things that we did is we moved to kind of expand a little bit. And now that for if you haven't joined, if you're just joining us for the first time, 2025 this year, we've added video, so now you guys can see us. And with that, we're refreshing a lot of things. This is our logo. Um, I wish I could tell you that we labored over this for weeks and coming up with different ideas, but we
Remember,
threw it into
Benny
AI.
Benny is an AI expert. So this is tell him how you did this, and this is pretty cool.
Yeah, in this particular one, I actually threw this into. If you all are familiar with artificial intelligence, Google has a technology today. It's called, as of the fall of 2025, Nano Banana, which is actually 2.5 in their Gemini images ability. If you just kind of feed in what it is you're looking for, and in this particular one, I just put in Denison in my picture and said, "Hey, here's an idea that we have," and literally in less than a minute, Dennis, it kind of gave us a first version of it. And one, it was kind of strange. It had me with a beard, and it was kind of, but you went through a couple different iterations. But I think less than like four, and we came up with this one. And I think you and I and Megan really just kind of thought this kind of hit it. So
I
it,
looked at him
it's
like, oh
fun.
my God, I'm gray. That really is me. I'm the old guy. So yeah. So just
Yeah, and
some fun.
the fact that I'm just a couple inches shorter than you on this one is way off. Uh, I need a ladder to be that close in height
That's
to
great.
Dennis. So
All right. Hey, well, let's jump into the questions. So,
yep.
so the first one here, so the questions, and I'll read the four, and then we'll jump into kind of talking about them. So, how do we handle networking or building professional relationships, and most of it is virtual?
Hmm.
How do you keep friendships strong when you don't see people every day at work? This one's kind of fun. What music do you listen to when you need focus or motivation?
Hmm.
And the fourth one, how do you stay productive while working from home without burning out? So all of them kind of center around it's working from home, but it's like, okay, how do you deal with some of these things? So the first one, how do you handle that networking or building professional relationships? This one's been an easy one for me because, going driving somewhere, we moved to Atlanta. It's an hour drive no matter where you go. So you're spending 2 hours to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
I have found that there's lots of virtual places and ways to connect with people um, through chat, but also like this, where you're talking to people and there's groups. Um, there's several different, I'm in one out of Philadelphia that's called Beacon that has a great approach of how they do it. There's
Yeah.
another one called Network in Action that I'm in that works really, really well. So I think there's those online networking abilities that allow you to grow and connect with the people you're trying to find. Benny, how about
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, there are so many that you can find online. And for me, yeah, I think a sense of community is really important. For some of you guys out there, if you're not familiar, if you're kind of the older set and you're not familiar with Discord, I know a number of you all are, but you can actually find a topic, or a product set, or just kind of like share some of the ideas. But Discord is really it's an interesting way of being able to network, and it kind of expands upon that. There's not necessarily the video element on it, but it's neat to be able to have those. There's a commonality in there. But to your point, Dennis, I think that while it's not a full replacement of actually being in person with people, yeah, I know, especially because we had, like you had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we had the folks over in one of your networking groups. and just getting to know them and talking to them, there's no way I would have met them just kind of organically out in the
Right.
real
I
world.
mean, if
So
without the virtual approach, your network ends up being just kind of in your own little town. With
yeah,
this one, my networking group is all it's truly global. It's definitely across the US, but it goes overseas as well.
yeah,
There's another one that we didn't have on here that and I forget the name of it, and I did it for a while. It's like an AI one where you put in your things that you're looking for, and then it schedules lunches with you and
yeah.
another person. That's another great one that if you're trying to connect and get out there, and it's also good for business, but also at this time there may be some of you that are in the market that are looking for another job. It's another great way to connect and just get your name out there with people that you wouldn't have come across. So there's lots of tools and things online to help you network and grow that relationship. And I encourage you guys to share with us what you're doing on those things, and we'll pass it along.
Yeah, but, also as well, just to kind of dovetail on that a little bit, Meetup is one. It's not the one Dennis was
That
thinking about, 'cause I remember, Dennis, what you're talking about now. I can't remember
yeah,
what it is. But, but Meetup, not only do they have a lot of the virtual meetings that you can have online, but you also have physical in-person meetings. Now, for us, I think that's really a really interesting way. I mean, I've met a number of different people here in the local Denver area because of because of Meetup, and I've developed some really deep friendships from that too as well. So don't overlook that one as well. If you're in a smaller community, you might have to drive a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, if you do it once a month or something like that, you'd be surprised, how that helps you out.
all right. Let's move on to the next one. So, how do you keep friendships strong when you don't see people every day?
Yeah.
This is again, there's going to be that core group of people that you kind of had friendships with maybe at the office. And
Hmm.
they could be either at your company or they could be vendors. Benny was a vendor, and so
Hmm.
we kept in touch over the years.
Yeah.
And one of them is start a podcast with your friend. That's what Benny and I did, and so we get to
Yeah.
see each other, you know, periodically as we're doing these and touching base and
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, one that we didn't put on here, but look at creating kind of like a mini board of directors for yourself. So it's
Yeah.
find 6 to 8 people that are in different industries doing different things that help kind of give you feedback about your business. You can help them, but it's also just a way to stay connected, with them through online or in person. And the other one is,
Mhm.
just find, groups of interests that are outside of work to develop that new network because
So
it's all about friendship and
yeah.
community.
What Dennis isn't going to say, and I'll say it, is Dennis is one of the best networkers that I know. Dennis knows people all over
Thank
the
you.
country and the world, actually. But well, one of the things that Dennis does is he makes himself available out in the community. So I know that you sit on some boards, you do a lot of volunteer work. Dennis is really big in the community, and so I take a lot of I take Dennis as a little bit of a role model in that perspective and being really, you have to kind of get involved, right? And so I know you're in a new neighborhood and you're in a new town, Dennis, and so you probably already know everybody in your neighborhood. You probably, but but that's really part of it too as well. And I can't understate the fact that um, the more that you just find commonalities with people, and it doesn't have to be business related. It can be,
Right.
Dennis is a big college football fan, and I know that there's a lot of binding within that world as well too as well. Dennis and I happen to actually support different and opposite teams in this, and that's okay. That's okay.
Mine's number one right now, and yours is
Yeah.
not.
We're losing. So, but I'm still proud of my alma mater. But the nice thing about that too, Dennis, is like I have also learned, and here's like a interesting thing. Like some of my friends back in college, I'll go into Denver. It's about a half-hour drive for me to get into Denver to go to. Next week, I'm going to one, and I'll actually schedule. I'll reach out and let someone know, hey, are you around tomorrow? I'll give you a call at 10 o'clock or something like that. And for my half-hour drive, I'll just talk to them on the phone, and it keeps a connection there. I have one super good friend of mine. He was, I was best man in his wedding. We don't talk that often, but without fail, on my birthday, he gives me a call, and we talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours just to catch up. I hear what's
Yeah.
going on with his kids and all this kind of stuff. But those are the type of things that, yeah, maybe it's a little bit of effort, Dennis, in terms of like the stuff that you do, just going out and getting out in the community and making the effort to be the one that makes the phone calls. But I that it's helped me out quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to find that because I mean, when you went in the office, it did create friendships. It also
Hmm.
created a bunch of enemies. So the nice thing is you don't have to deal with all the people you didn't like. So, um, but I there's certain people from different companies I've worked with that I've kept in touch with. Um, but then also you just try to create new networks and opportunities to meet other people through the different things outside that are near and dear to your heart. So
Yeah,
it makes it fun. All right, let's move
yeah.
on to number 3. So this was fun. So what music do you listen to when you need to focus or motivate? Um, and this one, we actually asked chat, hey, what's out there? But mine is I love disco. I grew up in the 70s. So, I put on Donna Summer and that kind of stuff when I need to really just kind of get down and think about how do I want to get things moving and get things
Hmm.
going and exciting. Um,
Yeah.
the disco channel on Spotify is great.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. I will listen to some music back. For me, it was more the '80s in terms of where I kind of like to listen to some of that music. But in terms of like motivating me, and and in terms of helping me just kind of stay on track a little bit, from background noise, I'll actually put on some podcasts, and I have this little speaker system in my office, and I'll listen to some of these podcasts, and it really helps me stay connected and focused at times. So I'll do the podcast, and then also books on. I'll listen to audiobooks too as well. Because
Yeah.
Dennis, I have to admit, I'm not a huge reader. My wife, she's worn a groove right in her Kindle, but for me, I'm an audio guy, so I listen to a lot of audiobooks as
Yeah.
well. So.
And just having background noise when I'm in at home, it just helps because it is a little quiet sometimes, especially,
Yeah.
if you don't have kids at home.
Hmm.
Um, having a little noise in the background or music playing just kind of
Yeah.
motivates you and kind of gets you through and makes the day go by faster. So that
Yeah.
was a fun question. I mean, that popped in. I was like, that would be kind of interesting to hear
Yeah.
what Benny listens to.
Yeah.
All right, last one. How do you stay productive while working from home without burning out? This is a good one because one, working from home, you can actually put in more hours than you did in the office.
Yeah.
So you gotta. The first one is block time. You've got to block some time for yourself. You've got to block time for your family, and then you've got to block time for work. And you have to prioritize. And you need to make if you're in sales or for me, I have a task list or a CRM that I follow and stay focused on to help me kind of get through the day to make sure I'm doing the things. Because it's real easy to put things off and kind of just procrastinate. This one's really
Yep.
important you do this stuff.
Yeah. One of the techniques that I use. If Are you familiar with the Pomodoro technique?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I basically have a timer that I'll use, and you can download these or like browser extensions, or they're actual physical pages that you can have up, or just on your phone, right? Set a 20-minute timer, and I will use that as a dedicated, focused work time. And
Hmm.
seeing that the time kind of click down, it makes me realize I gotta be focused. I gotta really make this happen, because my goal would be, if I can get this done within the hour, and it's going to get completed, or if I got the 20 minutes to do it, right? And then you take like a 5-10 minute break, whatever it happens to be. But I find that helps me a little bit to not just because Dennis, I know that you would do it too. I could like get up as soon as I get up in the morning, start working, and before I know it's dinner time, right? And that's dangerous. It's not good for you.
That's
It's
where the
not healthy.
burnout happens. I mean, that's the best part
Absolutely.
about working from home is, I'll work from like 7 to 9, and then from 9 to 10, I'll usually go for a walk and get outside and
Hmm.
exercise. And
Yeah.
I'll do another block from 10 to 11, eleven
Hmm.
thirty. Have lunch. And in the afternoon, I know I'm not real productive in the afternoon. So I'll do a little bit after lunch. And then after that, I kind of begin to cut out and may do some things around the house. But I know around 9, 10 o'clock before bed, I'm productive. So I can finish kind of up. So I may get my 8, 9 hours in, but it's not a 8 to 5 approach. It's different
Right.
ways that you use your time more effectively. And I think that's the real value of the working from home model that,
Hmm. Yeah.
if you're a control freak manager, you don't like that. But if you're about results,
Yeah.
you're going to see the results because it allows the person to work when they're productive. Because my wife's
Yeah.
totally opposite. She's not a morning person, but afternoon and evenings, she can knock it out of the park. And so it's like, okay, if I said that she had to be up at 8 o'clock and doing work, she's not going to be a happy camper. But if I tell her she can do it around 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock at night, she'll knock it out and make it come to
Yeah.
life. And so I think that's a lesson for all of us to think about, that don't put all of us in the same pigeonhole.
Yeah.
Allow people to be themselves and be productive. Set the targets and the end the goals in mind so that they know what they've got to achieve and get to, but then somewhat get out of their way and let them be productive and do their thing that makes them most successful.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of an exploration for yourself. If you're new to it, and you've only worked in 9 to 5 type of worlds, it's a way for you to figure out, hey, maybe I am more productive, starting later in the morning and working in the evening. Well, Dennis, I know that there's a lot of stuff that we get asked all the time, but if we want to be able to get some people that to learn a little bit more about what Works Solutions does, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, email is probably the best. So it's Dennis J at Work Solutions. So it's WRX And
Hmm.
just shoot me an email, and also LinkedIn's fine. I have the personal one, and we also have the WFH, and we also have a Works one. So here's our logo. Benny, how about you? How's the best way to get a hold of you?
Same thing, yeah. Reach out to me. You can email me at Benny, Benny at velocitytechnology.group. And also, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm surprised by how many people who connect to me and said, "Hey, listen to your podcast." And it's fun. I love that. So stop by our website too as well, wfhwith2guys.com, and you can see what the latest is goings on are there. We got a lot of stuff going on this year and going forward.
Well, Benny, this is another episode that we've wrapped it up, and our new thing
Okay.
is no commute is required when you work from home.
That's right. I think I'm going to go downstairs and eat a little breakfast.
There you go. All right.
Good to
Adios.
see you guys.
You've been listening to WFH with Two Guys. We'll see you next time.